Welcome to Review, the best show on YouTube that reviews
Yes, we're the
Attack on
best show.
Titan. We're the absolute best. We're the king of production values. Nobody's better than us. Nobody.
Absolutely.
Nobody.
Nobody. Nobody ever.
100%. So I'm here. I'm Lobster Magnet. I'm here with my good old buddy Gorogregoro, and we are here to talk about Shingeki no Kyojin, or Attack on Titan, Season 2, Episode 8. So,
Yes.
Greg, what do you think of the fallout of the colossal armored Titan battle?
Well, uh, maybe they were right. That they could have caught Aaron right away, but it still seemed like a really shit plan from the very beginning when they did it. They didn't even. There wasn't any thought to this plan. There wasn't. There wasn't a plan.
What plan are you talking about? They didn't. All they could really do is just
Reiner and
like
Bertholt's
try
plan.
and fight. Oh, you mean to Bertholt and Reiner?
Yeah, Bertolt and Reiner. They didn't have a plan to bring in how to bring in Aaron and Ymir all at once. They just kind of like thought on their feet and just went with it. And
Yeah, they're running away, and it's working out pretty well for them.
yeah,
This was a big episode of people sort of responding to the aftermath, and not a lot happened. It was funny. I went back to the manga and like skimmed through it, and I could see why they added in that extended flashback of like whatchamacallit, Mikasa and Aaron doing that like fight when they're kids with like little punks.
yeah.
The funny thing is like they have that in the manga, but it's like one panel.
Oh, really?
It's one panel, so it's like this sort of like let's take this panel, stretch it out to 4 minutes, so we can pad this episode. Like most of the action was just sort of like showing, Bertholt getting out of the colossal Titan, going and getting Aaron after Rainer, bites him out of the neck, and then them running off.
Yeah.
Because like generally, like they do one chapter because Attack on Titan is a monthly manga. It's 45 pages, give or take. Yeah, around 45 pages. So they try and do one chapter per an episode, but sometimes if it's more action oriented, they'll do like 2 chapters per an episode. So there was a little bit of extended creative filler, which was kind of redundant because it's like we've seen it before. Aaron gets into fights because Aaron's a self-righteous little prick, and then Mikasa actually does the heavy lifting because she's the badass one. And good old Hans gets drunk because he's useless, and he knows he's useless, and he's happy that like things are just kind of okay with the status quo.
Yeah. Very much. I'm kind of shocked that Mikasa is still like. She's still like head over heels over Aaron, like
Yeah.
so like blindingly so. A lot of the times it feels.
Remember, she's like it's this weird incesty brother sister fetish because technically they're not blood related. She's like adopted.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if they could expand more on her character because right now she seems a little bit one-dimensional at the moment.
A little bit. She's like the super capable, epic badass. Like
I mean,
Levi,
I guess there are
like,
a lot of one-dimensional characters at the moment.
Many characters in anime are one-dimensional and like don't have many layers. And sometimes it's a detriment. Sometimes it's just fine to have like a certain character who has like 1 or 2 gimmicks, and as long as they do that gimmick, it can be interesting as long as you have them off of other ones. Although there is like this sort of like creepy sort of a little too incesty Mikasa fixation on Aaron, sort of like she's hyper jealous. Like in the first season, there was like this moment where she was like kind of angry at Aaron because it was implied that he had like some sort of affection towards Annie. Well, not really affection, but he has sort of like concern towards Annie, and she's like, she's a traitor. Why are you concerned with that blonde bitch?
Yeah, well,
It's the kind of thing that's like designed to fulfill fan speculation and dojin weird awkward handmade porn at conventions in Japan.
I always just assumed there's gonna be like more story explained later on with Mikasa and Eren, and like we're gonna realize
Not
like
really.
it.
You got all the things you need now. Aaron's a little kid, and Mikasa was going to be like sold off to like these like evil slaver people, and Aaron was like, I don't care. I'm not going to wait for adults. I'm going to go kill these people and murder them because that's what I do. They're bad people. And then Mikasa is like learns to unlock her Ackerman fury and murder the whatchamacallit, murder the slaver people. And that's the point where she becomes a super badass.
And that's when Eren gives her the scarf, right?
I'd have to go check. Like, I personally don't give a shit about the scarf. I think that's
The
when he
scarf
gives
is a
her.
big part of her character design,
It's a
Isaac.
big part. Oh my god, because Aaron gave her the scarf, and Aaron's her husband, and they have this. She has this incredible attraction towards Aaron. Although, of course, Aaron would never see it because Aaron's just all about the best for humanity.
Uh, I think Eren, he feels kind of frustrated he can't do things on his own, like because he's like not that as strong as Mikasa, and Mikasa's
No,
always coming
he's
to his
like
rescue.
he's completely terrible. Like there's that scene like 2 episodes ago where he's like he kills a Titan finally. He's like, yeah, my first Titan kill in non-Titan form.
I I think and he probably does have some appreciation for like Mikasa and Armin and stuff, but he also wants to prove things on his own as well, and
Yeah, and I do kind of like how he's like consistently like worse at most everything than all the other characters.
yeah.
He doesn't really have the tools to teach himself. He's like not good with the 3D maneuverment gears like other people. He's not good at killing Titans without his Titan powers. When he gets his Titan powers, he's like easily eclipsed by Annie and Rainer and Bertholdt, who like can like do their shit at will.
Well, I
Have complete
imagine
control.
Aaron's transformation into a Titan is going to be. I don't know. I see Aaron's transformation as a Titan could potentially be more special than others.
Well,
Yeah.
later on, it kind of gets a special quality, which you'll see at the end of the season. He gets like becomes even more of the special. But right now, like his Titan is like the most basic bitch.
I'd say Aaron is like the most basic in terms of like fighting as a human, but as a Titan, he's like
Still
progressing
kind
at
of.
a he's progressing at
I
a
mean, he is progressing in the sense that like we saw him have more control. He like
he
was able to
wrestled the armored
understand.
Titan. That was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah, that was a cool moment. But like he can't harden his body parts like Annie does.
Hmm.
He doesn't have the armor like Raynor does. Um, he's not even Ymir can like go in and out of her Titan form at will and communicate with people in the Titan form.
Well, you saw how she transformed before. She had to bite into her hand, right? And
Yeah, that's still the signature thing that they have to like inflict some sort of wound with a purpose, and then they can transform.
it's like summoning jutsu in Naruto.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you got like characters who can transform into like fleshy robots, you might as well give them like some cool thing. I'm gonna transform. I guess that in real life that isn't as cool as it looks in the the show, but the fact that you're like biting in your hand with enough that like it bleeds, it looks cool. Like the Annie had the secret ring that like cut her finger, and that was able to use her transformation.
I wonder
Well,
if
now that I think
anyone's
about it,
ever tried to do that in real life. It's like I'm gonna, make blood by actually biting into my hand. Like
yeah, that'd be
that's
interesting.
really difficult,
It's
isn't
really hard,
it?
which is why it always seems so impressive when you see it in anime.
Yeah. You imagine if someone did that actually in real life, they would like start to bite into the bone and like, oh, I don't
I
know
feel
how
like
you do it,
I feel like they do it in like maybe a Saw movie, like you'd see that.
but like maybe they accidentally eat like like bite into like some muscle and like chew it off by accident because you bit so hard.
Well, there you go. That's what needs to have a horror movie, like a guy who, for some stupid reason, needs to chew off his hand, and he's just like biting through it or some shit.
Or like a guy is like the horror movie is he's trying to realistically replicate anime, and you see the horrors of someone trying to realistically replicate like stuff they've seen on anime.
I'm not quite sure that far. I think you need to create another story or scenario for that. But it'd be amusing to see that. But it's funny though when Bertholdt and Rainer like both transform, they don't do any biting. But then again, Rainer had his like arm cut off and like his other hand like sliced in half by Mikasa, and Bertholdt had like his neck slashed.
Exactly. So I
they
think pain is still a factor in Titan transformation because Mikasa just sliced off their body parts and stuff.
But we got to see like the other characters react. Good old Erwin, my favorite character, gets to like get a patrol together, and they're going after them. They know where they are. They know where they're probably hiding.
Yeah, which I thought was very interesting that they.
I'm using my Titan power.
Because I thought they would have been long gone by now.
1 second. I know this is like
you're trying to heat up the
there
space with as a colossal titan.
Yeah. I colossal titan the lights on.
Yeah.
All right. So what were you saying, Greg? Before I do that stupid thing.
Yeah. So. Yeah. What was I saying?
You had a thought.
Yeah. Okay. So I liked. I thought Bertholdt and Raynor would have been long gone by then and would have escaped over the wall since they were Titans. But they made the analysis like they themselves probably were afraid of the other Titans outside the wall because Raynor did get bitten and almost killed by, one of those lesser Titans, right?
Well, remember the non-Titan shifters, the pure Titans, they still somehow can detect that the like Titan shifters are people, so they'll still attack them.
Right.
So we've seen that like with Ymir, all the Titans like tried to eat her, and that rule still applies to Bertholdt and Raynor.
Yeah. So I like they analyzed their situation because they were probably exhausted from the fight they had earlier with Eren and the colossal titan like shooting out steam for like half an hour or an hour.
Yeah.
And so they probably went to rest in such and such forest, big giant anime forest, which
that's like a really static location. People love those big giant anime forests. I feel like half of Naruto's fights are in big giant anime forests.
Yes, that was like the whole Chunin exam, that big giant anime forest.
And even like Attack on Titan, like the first big thing with the whole female Titan arc, that took place in a giant anime forest.
Yeah, it did.
I don't know if it's the same anime forest, but they do love their giant trees.
Oh, it was that took place outside of the walls, didn't it? That was an expedition mission.
Remember, there's like 3 sets of walls, and inside the third set of walls, there are like Titans in it. So it wasn't beyond the walls, but it was beyond the second layer of walls.
What? I thought the expedition mission was always outside the walls.
Usually, but remember, the interior set, like in the very beginning of the series, the third set of walls is invaded by the Titans, so they're reduced down to the second set of walls. So all they were doing was going beyond like the second set of walls into Titan territory.
Oh. Okay. For some reason, I thought they reclaimed that area.
No, that's like their big objective. That's why Eren's hardening, potential hardening is so important.
Oh, right, because they got to get to the base.
They could they got to go back to the third wall, fill it up, and then they're good to kill all the Titans, and then reclaim the territory.
Yeah.
That's kind of like their big objective, their big prerogative.
Would you say the story gets way better in Attack on Titan? You think it gets
Mm,
You've been following it
define
for a while.
define way better.
I
Like
mean, like,
you sound like you're unsatisfied with
no,
what's going on right now.
I mean, I'm just, I guess I'm kind of curious. Like, well, you say we're gonna get answers at some point.
I will say this in this part, like you know,
This is like very, I guess, out of the blue, confusing. Berthold and Raynar are just like going completely stupid and not forming a plan, just grabbing Aaron Ymir for like almost no particular reason whatsoever, and we just gotta go, we just gotta run, because I said so. And yeah, we're undercover for we're many years.
yeah, like 3 4 years.
Yeah, and now I'm just gonna blow my cover and run right now for no reason. I hate that. I still hate it. It's so stupid.
Well, aren't you excited though, Greg? At the last few minutes of the episode, Rayner's like looking at Aaron, and I was kind of pissed at this. That like, it's weird. It's like I feel like some of the violence has been toned down this season a little bit. Like in the manga, like Aaron is like there with his like regenerating stump arms, as opposed to now where he just has no arms. Which I guess you could say is like maybe creepier, but like I love those stump arms.
I think the stump arms um, might be they could be over underneath the cloak that he has on right now, because in the manga I saw they did the reveal where he let out his stump arms from underneath that cloak thing, and then you see him.
Maybe there's a chance of that. I don't know. I just feel like they're like, oh, these stump arms are they're too much for this series of for the Japanese audiences where we've been used to giant zombie creatures like tearing people apart alive.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes censorship, it just does weird things like that.
It's so weird of like what you can get away with in Japan and what you can't. It'll never make sense to me. I mean, I would love to see someone do a big analytical video on it. But aren't you excited though, Greg? There's like potential for answers, potential for all the solutions you want. Rainer and Berthold can explain Aaron everything.
Yeah, I mean that. Wow. I'm looking forward to an explanation. Yes, for sure. It's like, why were you undercover for so long, and why did you all of a sudden snap out of decide it's okay now, we should just run with these two?
Well, you want me to give you like a minor spoilers?
Okay. Major spoilers involved. What?
Believe me, this is like a nothing spoiler. Okay. You're not going to get any answers. You're not going to get anything conclusively solved. I remember when I read that part in the manga, and I was like, fuck this. Now Aaron's in like the perfect position to get all the answers about the secret of the world. It's interesting. You asked, did the story get better? And my objective answer for this section of the manga is no. But I think, there's still some like really big set piece moments that'll be filled with hype and awesome music, and you and the internet will probably love them. But you're not going to get any big answers. And then there's going to be some more points where like, you're also going to be kind of pissed off. But there'll be more cool hype set piece moments. But eventually, you do kind of like get those big payoffs, which I've told you bits and pieces of. And I do think those payoffs are worth it because, it's such a batshit crazy big reveal for something that had been teased so long. It completely reframes the series and how you see it. That like I think that payoff was worth it. But at this point it is kind of frustrating. It's like, Aaron or Berthold, Rainer, why don't you tell us what the fuck you want and what your objective is and what your rationale is? And they just don't. They're just like, we got to do this thing and go to this place, but we're not going to tell you anything.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. I mean, I guess I'm still gonna watch. Of course, I'm gonna keep on watching, just to hopefully get some more answers. And I also like, they do a really good job animating the show.
Oh yeah, they do a great job of like There's some like moments I'm not a huge fan of in the arc that comes after this, but I cannot wait to see them animated because I know they're going to look completely badass and amazing when we actually see them.
Uh, I mean, the production for this is really good, and when they start talking about strategy and stuff, that's also really cool.
I'm titanizing again.
You're
But
titanizing.
yeah, keep going, Greg. I hate
Um,
these lights so much. Nope. Okay. I titanized.
ah! So, yeah,
You were
the
saying, Greg, in the middle of your thought.
uh, it's still an enjoyable show, uh, even with the fucking reveal. That was that was like the biggest thing for me this season. That was like the worst thing.
Well, you'll see what you think of the later reveals as they come. But there's going to be some very emotional moments later on that I can't wait to see animated. I think they're going to be really cool. Although next episode, if they're following what I think they're going to do, it'll be a frustrating one in the sense that like they're in a position to give answers, but they don't. But there's also some interesting conversation pieces. So, Greg, what would you give this episode?
I give it like a 6.5, maybe a
That's
six.
generous. I think I'd give it like a 5 or 6. Probably 6. Still well put together, but it was definitely like a transitional episode that felt like it was just putting the pieces together before like the next big set piece that we want to see. And I
Yeah,
was kind of hoping they blaze through the material as opposed to like putting in like a 5 minute flashback about Aaron fighting over bread that nobody gives a shit about.
yeah. That flashback did take a little bit too long.
That was not needed. That was just like, well, let's cover this whole chapter. We got 45 pages to work with. Let's get this shit done.
Yeah,
Which was,
I
ultimately kind of disappointing.
I feel like they should maybe just speed it up a little bit. Just through
No,
there's a
they're
lot of
going at
manga
a
content, right?
they're going at a pretty good pace. They know where they want to end it, and they're going to end it like around chapter 50, 51, in episode 12, and that's a good conclusive point to end the anime, and then have us wait like a year or two for the next season.
Uh, it should be probably less than a year. I feel after how long we've waited before.
Yeah, my gut tells me that like I think season 3 will probably be like maybe 6 to 9 months. I feel like there's enough manga material that like you could easily like adapt a good chunk of it in a season 3. So I think it'll happen much faster.
I hope so. Well, yeah. Any more thoughts about this show?
Nah. It was we got to see people move around. We got to see Erwin, my favorite guy. You'll see why he's my favorite guy very soon. He gets a really cool moment and like that
I
kind
already
of
thought
moment.
he got some really cool moments earlier in season
Well,
one.
who Erwin? Like,
Yeah,
you thinking of the right character? Like, which moments?
like remember uh he set up that whole trap for the female
Oh
titan.
yeah, the female Titan.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
He definitely gives like what I love about what Irwin is gonna do soon is that like Irwin is a guy who's kind of like Griffith, who's got like a lot of blood in his hands. That's his job. He orders people to death on a regular basis with the conviction that those losses will mean something and lead humanity into the secrets of the world.
It's
Uh,
I don't know if I compare him to Griffith.
well,
Griffith is under the guise that these people are his friends,
cool.
and
Well,
they're not they're more than tools to him. You know.
Well, I'd say Irwin is a little bit more empathetic. Like, he's not as callous as Griffith ultimately is, but like in the sense that like he's like throwing away all these dead bodies,
No,
and
no, I mean like
not,
Griffith would lie about it, and Irwin would just like blatantly say the truth. Like, yes, you are tools for the sake of humanity.
yeah.
I don't care. As long as we complete our mission or something. I guess is what I
Well,
think.
like what I love about Irwin is like as dogmatic as he is and persistent as he is like, commander, he's also a guy who will like, whose determination is like so there, he will like put his self and his flesh on the line, which gets demonstrated later on, where like he will risk, major injury to himself for the sake of his goals. And that like just imagine if Donald Trump like put on like a flak jacket, went to Syria or Afghanistan, and like started like running into caves and trying to shoot ISIS.
Well, that would be something.
It would be stupid. It would be,
it would be the dumbest
George Bush's mission accomplished thing. But on some level, you would respect him 10 times more than you do now.
Of course, I would. I mean, respect him, and also feel like that stupid fuck is gonna die, any second.
But that's like if Donald Trump actually had the balls to do that. To like, say that like, I'm not just going to sit and order cake and launch missiles at people, but I'm actually going to get in there. And that's why I fucking love Irwin. Irwin has that same sort of like conviction that you like in characters like Rorschach, and that they will not compromise their morals, and they will put themselves, the money when the mouth is, when it comes time to, when it comes to like sacrificing their morals or taking the easy route.
Yeah.
That's why I think he's probably my favorite character in the series. He does not get the fandom he deserves. Nobody likes him as much as I do, but like, I think he's awesome. He's exactly what I would want from like a commanding character.
Yeah, I think his character is pretty cool so far.
He's got those fuzzy eyebrows of like incredible determination.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll see when they animate it.
Yeah, it'll be cool. Maybe episode 10 or 11. If I had to guess.
All right. Well, anyway.
I think that about covers it. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, send us a comment. We'll probably reply to it because we don't get many comments, and comments make us feel good, and we like to feel validated. One of your buddies from the stream said Kappa, which I was like tempted to respond to.
Someone said Kappa?
Yeah, it was like one of the more recent videos. I think the most recent Attack on Titan video before this one. If you want to respond with Kappa, go ahead. It was like Suma Kitty. I think she was the one who put the comment.
Oh, Suma is a guy, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
How do you know?
I talked to him on voice.
Okay. Maybe cats are pretty cute has made me biased to thinking that anyone with like cats or kitty is like actually a girl.
Well, his name before was Ender and then changed to Suma. I keep track of these things. Anyway,
yeah, that's a little too much stream drama. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. We're going to, little by little, get this channel up on par and increase production values. So, got some cool shit planned for the future. And, we're going more reviews to come.
All right, take it easy.
See you next week.